Alright, how's it going? This video is going to be for if you're having some trim problems. I got a 3.0 mercruiser, and I was having problems where my trim would only go down. I couldn't get it up. The only way to get my motor back up is to push the trailer button. So I'm going to run you through some troubleshooting procedures real quick. Alright, so the first thing you're going to check under your left seat, okay, you're going to see this is your pump unit. Alright, first thing you want to do is make sure that it's filled up with hydraulic oil. Okay, of course this one's good. Okay, this right here, okay, should run straight to your battery. This is your overall power to the system itself. On an up and a down, okay, you can remember this by green grass down and blue sky up. Okay, so this solenoid right here is going to be my solenoid for the up portion of the trim. This is also the trailer, so up and trailer. Okay, down here is obviously going to be my bottom. Okay, so the first troubleshooting procedure that I went through was kind of trying to figure out if it was my solenoid or not, because a lot of times when these things, the up stops working or the down stops working, it's going to be a bad solenoid. So I went to O'Reilly's, I picked up a new solenoid, I installed it. Pretty easy to get this thing out. Okay, you got a bolt that's hidden back here, okay, that's going to take this off. You got this nut here and you got two nuts here. Just make sure that you take a picture. This just comes right off. You put everything back on the way it goes. Really simple. Just make sure the battery's unhooked when you do it. Right here, here's a fuse. Okay, there's two fuses. There's actually going to be one in here. Okay, this one is very unlikely to go out. Here is just your standard 20 volt fuse that goes inside of here. So you'll also want to check that. If you've replaced the solenoid, just go ahead and pop off that fuse. Make sure that fuse is good. After that, let's say you put the solenoid back on like I did today, and it still didn't work. I then went through and said, okay, I'm going to test all my power. So I got myself a voltmeter. All right, got the battery on. I took off my wire here, tested it, made sure it got power. I knew this was getting power because it would trim down and it would trailer, so I really did not need to test that. And then I tested back here. There's another blue and white wire. Okay, this blue and white wire runs all the way up, and it's going to run down the side of your boat, and it runs up to the actual switch itself. To see if that's getting any signal, you need to make sure that somebody's pressing the up on the throttle when you're trying to get to see if it's got power through it, which it did. So back here, really, if everything is getting power, you've replaced the solenoid, and if it's still not working, okay, there's one more common procedure, and it's really simple, and I will show you back here. So in the back of your engine, okay, you are going to have what is called a trim sender and a trim limit. Okay, your trim sender, okay, is on the starboard side, okay, which is right here. Okay, all it is, you push the engine aside. Depending on your model, you know, sometimes they're really difficult to get to. So like on this one right here, I'm able to, when I turn it all the way, I'm able to get to those Phillips. Okay, the trim sender, I know the trim sender is working because my trailer goes up and I'm able to go down. So it is sending the response, okay? All this is doing is sending a response back to the unit to tell it to go ahead and move up. Now, on the other side, okay, you have your trim limit. Okay, this trim limit, okay, when you press the trailer, okay, it's gonna override your trim limit. So no matter what, it's gonna go ahead and engage, and it's gonna go up. So just because you push trailer and your engine goes up, that has nothing to do with your trim limit. Okay, so all you do, there's 4 screws here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Go ahead and take those off, okay? And there's gonna be 2 little metal pieces that are inside of there. They connect, okay? What happens is there's corrosion that builds on those connectors, okay? And that's what happened to mine. So if you look online, it's gonna say you need to replace this entire thing. You have 2 wires right here, okay? Those lead through the transom, all right, and through your engine. Back, or not through your engine, but back inside of the boat. Okay, so in order to actually replace this entire thing, I mean, there's other ways to do it, but you literally have to take the bottom end off in order to do so. But before you do that, undo these 4 screws. You open it up. You'll be able to see that there's little two little metal prongs. Well, when those don't make contact, okay, it made contact going the other way, but it wasn't making contact going up. So without that contact, there was no connection, so it wasn't going up. So I cleaned those off real quick with some sandpaper, and voila, it was good to go. If that does not work, whew, man, you would have to, your next step, okay, is actually going to be in the back of your engine here. Let me jump back in here. Okay, when you go back in here, okay, remember that black wire I was telling you about earlier that goes through, okay, that hooks up to that limit? Right there is where it plugs into, okay? So if you were to undo that purple and white wire, okay, what that is doing is pretty much overriding the trim. So what will end up happening is if you unplug that, okay, if you were to go back there and push up, it should go up. If it does not go up, then you are actually looking at something that has to do with the wiring that's behind the actual throttle. And that's where it gets really complicated, because you got to take all this apart. There's some bolts in the back, and then you have to figure it out. Hopefully this video helps you. Just remember, start with the easiest steps first. I can't stress that enough. Start with the all your connections, and then go to the solenoid. Make sure you're not gonna be able to tell if the solenoid blew. So check that, change out your solenoid. But most of the time it's going to be in that tilt limit, which is really easy. It's really hard for those things to really go out. You have to do something completely wrong, or it gets pinched somewhere and it completely snaps the wire. But I hope this video helps, and have a good day.